Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back with the streams, dang it. And today it's the first Footy Fridays live show. I'm hoping that in the future we can do these more. First of all, welcome back. Robbie Basil here, the host and founder of RBTV. Thank you so much, as I'm saying this now, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. If you're at any point tuning in, oh my God, this is the video. This is why it takes so long for me to record videos. Whether you're joining me live now, or if you've joined us in the past, or if you're joining us later, hello YouTube, how are we? Hopefully, when you guys are watching this video, it's not raining where you are. It has rained here in my hometown for 3 consecutive days. And it's kind of sucked, and I'm not for that. I'm not for that. But we're not here today to violate or roast the weather outside. That's not our job. Today we're here to talk soccer, NFL maybe, but mostly soccer because that's what's been going on over the last couple of weeks, and that's why I haven't been around. I've waited to do this episode for like a month, so here we are. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll give you guys the countdown to subscribe. 3, 2, 1. Hit the subscribe button. Boom. That gets the job done. Usually, it actually did work on Wednesday. And if you're tuning in for the first time to any of my episodes, we have this show, which usually will go out on Tuesday. Sorry. This show usually comes out on Fridays, as stated in the title. And the Robbie Basil show, which goes over everything else not football related, usually will go out on Tuesdays. So back to Tuesday, Friday. In addition, I announced on Friday that a lot more streams will be happening. A lot of live broadcasts will be happening. Good chance there's a stream on Wednesday as well for the Conference League final. I would love to watch Chelsea lose, and I think that would be pretty funny. So if you guys want to join me on stream for that, write something in the comments saying, hell yeah, you should stream it, or don't waste your time. I would do a poll, but there's actually not a lot of live viewers right now. So we're not going to do that. We're going to talk soccer, and we're going to begin with the Europa League final because that was on Wednesday. And, well, the issue was that Wednesday was a complete mess, and I'm actually getting something live on stream from my football club, and they actually have posted my schedule. The schedule for matches in a restaurant in New Jersey, which is pretty cool. But also, I think I should mention this too. The reason I'm checking that is I actually do work for a football club now. Well, at least for the summer for my internship. I'm working at Morris Elite as a lead broadcaster. I actually had a meeting for that earlier today. So yeah, I will be posting the link to watch any of the matches on match week in the description, so you guys can check it out. And it'll also be on my Instagram, obviously. But let's talk soccer, and we're going to begin with the Europa League final. It was Tottenham, it was Man United, and the game was terrible. I said it in the open of that game. If this game wasn't a mess, then I would have lied to you guys. And guess what? I wasn't lying. It ended 1-0. The goal shouldn't really have been a goal because there was a good cross in by Matasar, and Brennan Johnson gets one touch. It hits off Luke Shaw, somehow goes past Onana. That's the game. That's the only goal in the match. The first half was a disaster. It was a disaster for multiple reasons. Tottenham not being able to score. Manchester United not really creating any chances. And what's shocking is that excluding the goal, Tottenham had 0.2 XG according to FootMob. 0.2. 0.2. They did nothing. United, on the other hand, had 0.97. They had a perfect chance late on, but they lobbed it over Vicario, and Mickey Van de Ven makes the save of the season and clears it off the line. And Tottenham, for the first time in, I believe, 17 years, have won a trophy and are champions of the Europa League and are going to the Champions League in 2025-26. Wow. It's a weird thing to say, and I will admit it is a very weird thing to say that Tottenham are going to the Champions League despite being 17th in the Prem. What are my thoughts on this? Thank God United lost. I am very happy United lost. Manchester United in this Europa League run have not looked good whatsoever. Let's go through the whole thing. We have to do this. For the culture, we have to go through the whole run. Let's start. So they opened it up with drawing to FC 20, which I believe is in the Netherlands. They then drew Porto, a match that they really should have lost. And they needed a 91st minute goal to equalize from Harry Maguire being a man down. They drew Fenerbahce, which another bad draw for their standard. They then beat PAOK Thessaloniki, which is not really anything crazy. It's PAOK Thessaloniki. They then beat Victoria Pilsen by 1 goal after going behind to on the road at the Doosan against Victoria Pilsen, which how is that possible? You're Manchester United. This is all that match is after, I believe, Ten Hag got canned. They then go into the winter break. You then go out, you beat Rangers, and I don't remember where the other match was. Oh, yeah, they beat FCSB from Romania. Cool. That would send them, I believe, to the knockouts, in which they would then go out and play Sociedad, which is I will admit this, Sociedad are actually pretty tough. They drew the opening match, and then United won 4-1. That's the best game they've played all year, was, I believe, the second leg with Sociedad. They then had to go play Lyon. They drew Lyon, and then they played the greatest Europa League match of all time, playing a 5-4 screamer, including goals in the 120th and 121st minute to win the match for United in extra time, in a match that I didn't think was real at the time that it happened. It was absurd. They then played Bilbao. They looked great in both legs, which then set them up for a final, which they got completely outclassed in, even if they had quadrupled the XG without the Johnson goal. That's crazy. Like, United should have won that game. It was 16-3 in shots. 16-3. How do you not win this game? That's unbelievable that United did not win this. 16-3. You looked better for a lot of the game at some points. But Richarlison, I guess, playing left wing, playing left center back at some points, he was able to lock down Amad Diallo at some points in the match. Diallo played a 6.9. Mason Mount played a 6.3. Rasmus Højlund had a 5.8 match rating. That's insane. Like, granted, Richarlison got hurt, which is how a lot of opportunities opened up late, because Richarlison got hurt. Never thought I'd be saying that, yet here we are. But, like, how is this possible? How is this possible if you're Manchester United? You go out, you honestly should have won this game like 2 or 3-0. Vicario put up a phenomenal performance. Got to give credit to Vicario. He was man of the match according to FootMob on an 8.3, which is fair. Look at the numbers. 5 saves, faced a ton of XG, made a lot of good saves, and like I said, 8.3 match rating. That's excellent for him. Pedro Porro, I thought, was excellent. He should have had a higher rating. Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie were all excellent. For United, Andre Onana, how did you let that in, bro? Like, I like Onana. There's a lot of things I like about Andre Onana, but Jesus Christ, how did that go in? How the hell did that go in? I want to rewatch the goal, but we'll get demonetized, and the stream would not even happen if we try and watch. Maybe one day we'll try and do that. Like mid-stream, just pull up the highlights and go over it, because I think that'd be pretty funny. Just like roast somebody. But that, if you go back and watch the goal, like that goal, terrible. How does that go in? Not a clue. United go on and lose. They're going to finish 16th in the Prem and not be in Europe next year. Honestly, I think that's the best for them, because they can like overhaul the squad more. I think they're going to have to make a lot of sales next year. They're going to need another center back. I think they have to like try and sell Maguire, someone. Like, they have a couple of good players. They need another center back to pair with Euro and whoever else they want to put back there, because the 3-4-3 or whatever you want to call it, 3-4-2-1, but the players they have just doesn't work. I don't know if Amarim, who they have full confidence in, and I can't blame them for not having confidence in the guy after the success he had at Sporting, to not go out and try and keep going with this tactic. I completely understand what they're trying to do with the tactic. I think the tactic could work. They were able to create a little bit through the wings with Dorgu, who played. Oh, I thought okay. Mazraoui was able to create a little bit off the right, but a lot of the plays that were made were created from Amadiallo, and that's it. Mason Mount was invisible on the pitch. Casemiro made a couple of good tackles. Fernandez was fine. He had a 7.5 to justify it. But looking at where United has to be in order to be like a serious club, they're nowhere near that. I projected this team to be in third at the end of the year, even if they sack Ten Hag. They are not even close. They're 16th, damn it. What is going on? When was the last time they won a Premier League match? I just want to know this before I end my rant. The last time they've won a Premier League match, oh my God, it's been 2 months. The last time they won a Premier League match was against Leicester. They've won 2 matches in the Prem since February 26th. How is that possible? Featuring losses against Brentford, Wolves, Newcastle's not terrible. We called the game with United and City. That game was awful. You lost to Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Chelsea, and then you just lost to Tottenham. They play Villa on Sunday to end the season, which, oh my word. And then they play a lot of club friendlies, and hopefully we'll roast their schedule. They play Hong Kong in May, at the end of May. Should I stream? And we're not streaming Hong Kong against Manchester United. Come on, I have some dignity. But Manchester United are a mess. Tottenham, let's talk more about Tottenham. Ange Postecoglou didn't lie. In the end, he did win a trophy in his second season. And this Tottenham team, who also have been pretty bad, I'm saying pretty bad. They've won, I think, it's just as many matches as Manchester United in the league. What was their last league win? Their last league win was against Southampton, which perfect. Go out and beat your Southamptons, and that's about it. Type in the chat what's worse, barely beating Southampton as your last league game or winning 2 games since February. It's the end of February. I don't know what's worse. But let's actually focus on like what we need to talk about, and that is the Premier League. Because for those who don't know this like channel at all, that's not the right keyboard. We focus on the Premier League a lot, and that's mainly the league I follow. And we're going to talk about what is going to happen in the Premier League this week. It's the final week of the season. We know a lot of weird stuff could happen. We know who is going to the Champions League, well, some of them at least. And it's going to feature Arsenal. It's going to feature Liverpool and Tottenham. I know, weird. Don't worry. I know someone was texting me earlier. Am I going to talk about the greatest season ever? Yes, we'll talk about that in a second. But right now on the table, Arsenal and Liverpool are the only 2 confirmed Champions League clubs. And then you have, I really believe, 1, 2, 3, you have 6 teams, 5 teams in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in it for a Champions League spot with Man City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Villa, Nottingham Forest. That's unbelievable that there's that many teams in this. And what's even more crazy is that Aston Villa and Chelsea have been in good enough form, along with City, to actually go out and do this. Those 3 teams are the only ones out of the 5 that have not lost multiple games in their last 5. And even Brighton, who are in 58 points, have had the okay season for their standard. They've been unbeaten in their last 4 and have looked really good, and are going to play a meaningless game against Tottenham on Sunday. I feel kind of bad for them. But let's go over the scenarios. So Man City is the first big one. They're going away to Fulham. And if you've paid attention to Fulham this year, they've actually been really, really good. Even if their recent form losing to Everton, Aston Villa, and Chelsea, I know they've lost 3 of 5, but they've been really good this year. They've won 15 games. Yes, they've lost 13, but they have a positive goal difference. They've done a lot of things to a higher standard than you would think for them. And they've honestly, for a Fulham team that had no expectations, they actually looked really good. Like, let's look at Fulham real quick, because they've had a lot of things go right. Raul Jimenez has had a really good year. Even if he's been on a 6.9. What the hell hell is this? Bro has 12 goals. Is on a 6.9. How is that possible? I don't know. Big year from Alex Iwobi, 9 goals, 6 assists. Adama Traore creating plays. Anthony Robinson's doing really good with 10 assists. He's on a 7.3, which good for him. Someone has to do something right for the Americans right now, because Christian Pulisic's not playing in the Gold Cup anymore. So I guess our leader is gonna be Jedi Robinson out of left back. Big up the left backs, I guess. I'm taking out my AirPod for this now. But yeah, Fulham are playing City. That should be a fun one. I think City will probably win that, but with the way any of these games can go, it could be complete chaos. Imagine like if City drop points. If City drop points, what's the odds they actually don't get the spot? It's not terrible if they. They're gonna get the Champions League spot if they draw. A draw would send Man City probably to the Champions League because they'll have a better goal difference than Villa and Nottingham Forest. And they also have 3 more points currently than Nottingham. A draw would send them through probably. The only team you really have to worry about, in case if you care about placement, is Chelsea and Newcastle. But Chelsea's playing Nottingham Forest, which is my game to watch this week at the City Ground. And I think the big note from this has been everyone trying to destroy the Prem because Anthony Taylor is reffing this match. If you're looking at everything all together, this is the game everyone will be watching. It's Chelsea, it's Nottingham Forest. What are we watching out for in the biggest game of the weekend? Nottingham with a win will seal a Champions League spot. If they don't win, Nottingham could be going to the Conference League, which, unfortunate. I believe they'd be going to the Conference League. Which is not great, but it is Europe at the end of the day for them. But a win would send them to 68 points and would send them to Champions League qualification because they would beat Chelsea, and that would put them on 68 points. They would then need a little bit of help, probably from freaking Manchester United, which would be very fitting if they go out and beat Villa, because that'd be the most pointless win of their season and would ruin Villa's hopes entirely, which would be pretty flippin' hilarious, I'll be honest. Because like I said, Manchester United playing Villa, Chelsea's playing Forest, Newcastle's playing Everton. It's at home. They're not losing that. So Newcastle's probably going to win. I think Man City's going to draw, which would put both of them at 69 points. So then if Chelsea wins, they actually have a slim chance of going to into third or fourth. They just need to win by like 6 goals. Totally possible. If Nottingham go out and win and Aston Villa don't win, that would make this really weird. Because if Aston Villa beat United, they will have the higher spot to Chelsea. There is a chance that Chelsea can only go to the Europa League this year. Because I don't know what happens. If Chelsea finishes in the Conference League spot, does that mean Brighton going to the Conference League now? I'm so lost with this because Chelsea should win the Conference League final this coming week. If they don't win, does anyone know in the chat? Like, do you guys know what the deal is? Or you can write it in the comments if you're watching this stream later. If you don't win, if Chelsea win the Conference League, but then finish 7th, what happens? I don't know, generally. But Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, they're gonna go head to head the whole way. Chelsea have lost 1 of their last 5. Granted, they played a club called Djurgården, which, where the hell are they from? Is this like a club like Latvia or something? Where are they from? Sweden. How the hell did they win the Swedish league? They're in 11th in the Swedish league. Fitting. They're behind clubs such as Gais, Göteborg, De Gerfer. What the hell is this league? De Gerfers? What is this league? Hammarby, Malmo, and Elfsborg are not winning it. AIK and club I'm not pronouncing is winning it. Fair enough. You know what? Works for me, boss man. If Tottenham could go out and beat Bodo Glimt twice, then they can totally go out and beat Djurgården twice. Also, a quick shout out to Chelsea because they went out and lost at home to Legia Warsaw fairly recently, which is going to be funny as hell. Which was funny as hell. I'll admit it. It was pretty funny. But the question for Chelsea right now is who plays striker? I don't know, honestly. It's going to be up to Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer's against Chris Wood for who is going to be the key player. Those are the two key players, obviously, that we're going to be looking out for. Predictions. What am I predicting to happen on the final day of the season? I think Nottingham and Chelsea are going to draw each other. Which, if that happens, that would put Chelsea on 67 points, Nottingham at 66. I think Man City are going to win. I think Arsenal's playing Southampton. I think they're going to beat them 3-0, personally, which would put Arsenal in second on 74. We actually can't fall lower than second unless Man City win by 8. Not going to happen. So Arsenal will finish second. Man City, I think, are going to beat Fulham 1-0, which would put Man City on 71 and into the Champions League. Fulham, unfortunate if they're going to lose that game. I think Newcastle are going to squeak by Everton 2-1, which would put ourselves in the conversation of what happens to Villa. I think Villa win their match. I think they beat Man United 1-0. 1-0, I think Villa would beat United, which would put Villa on 69, United on 69, Man City on 71, Arsenal on 74, and Liverpool's probably beating Palace, even though Palace did win the FA Cup last week. Which would put, I think Liverpool will draw that game. So they'll be on 84. So they'll win the league by 10 points, which then would have Chelsea in a Europa League spot anyway, and Nottingham stay in the Conference League. So I don't know what would happen because Chelsea would be playing in a higher tournament right now, but if they go into the Europa League, do they just stay in the Europa League? I don't know. You could write that all up in the comments to help me explain it, because we could be streaming that the whole day, the 2 hours of games on Sunday, which would be complete chaos, and I'm all here for that. But I would have like all 10 scores up like above my head, which I think would be pretty cool. Would y'all be down for that for a stream on Sunday? Type yes in the comments, type no, type 3 if you want me to be quiet, which is honestly, I respect all your opinions. Yeah, just running through the schedule one more time. Bournemouth is playing Leicester. Bournemouth have been really bad. Like, the fall off has been real for Bournemouth. They've lost 2 of 5. They've won 1 of their last 5, and it was against Arsenal. Perfect. They've had draws against the United and Palace, and they've lost to Villa and Man City. So it's not all bad for Bournemouth, but with the way they started, I said it in January, they're going to turn into West Ham of last year, and they did. Speaking of West Ham, utterly disappointing from them. They've done nothing. And my player of the season, my signing of the season, has scored 3 goals. You know what? I should just not pick a signing of the season next year, because whoever I've picked has been complete crap. Last year was Rasmus Højlund. This year it's Nicholas Füllkrug, and they've both been bad. Perfect. Füllkrug got hurt, but you understand the problem. They play Ipswich, and if they win and Brentford beat Wolves, they'll jump up to 14th. Yikes. The good news, I think everyone will like this, is that I actually have some of the Premier League predicted correctly, some of it. Before we go to the greatest European season ever, let's quickly look over my Premier League predictions entering this week. So if we're going to go to the Robbie Basil, it's now the RBTV Instagram, which you guys should totally check out, by the way. I have Liverpool predicted 5th, Tottenham predicted wow. So Tottenham, I predicted 4th. They're 17th. But I've had Nottingham predicted to be crap, but I had West Ham predicted to be good. This Premier League's been a very weird season this year. How many teams did Robbie get right? What do we predict in the chat? I know a lot of comments I've gotten recently had me not do very good. So far, we have 4, which is honestly the same as last year, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I didn't pick Arsenal to win the league, so that doesn't help me. How many did Dylan get right? Dylan has, I think, 0. He has 1. He has Fulham right, and that's it. Which Dylan's really smart. I honestly thought Dylan would be better than that, but Dylan's kind of struck out on these over the last 2 years. The 2 years we've done it, I think I've been way better than Dylan, even though we might get Dylan back for another video. What is the hat? I got a text. What's the hat? So the hat, I know my hair is a mess. It's a Northeastern hat, which shout out my little brother. They are playing in the CAA tournament, so I'm wearing like the Husky hat today that my mom bought for me. So big ups to the Huskies. They've won 25 in a row. Maybe y'all should check that out. They're on Flow College tonight. They're playing UNCW in the CAA tournament semifinals, which is really, really, really cool. You know what else is really cool? The subscribe button. Some of y'all should hit it. I'd be greatly appreciated. We had a lot of you tune into the stream. If you look at the numbers, how many of y'all watched it? Over 200 people viewed the stream. We had over 200 views of the stream on Wednesday, and we only gained a couple subscribers. And if you guys hitting the subscribe button would go a long way. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. And maybe one day we can do like a giveaway or something. If we get enough subs, I'll maybe do a giveaway. Who knows? What else is going on? The FA Cup. I know something I know I had to talk about. The FA Cup final. Almost typed on the wrong keyboard again. That's the problem with the three monitors. You type on the wrong keyboard a lot. But yeah, Crystal Palace won the FA Cup last week. How? No clue. Only dead honest, not a clue. Despite having a third of the expected goals, Crystal Palace went out and beat Man City. Was the game rigged? I don't know. I mean, there was that one decision that they didn't give a handball red card to him, like to Dean Henderson when he was like reaching over the line. I would show it, but I don't have the footage with me. So that would be like something in the future we look out for and be like, well, honestly, is that a red card or not? I thought it could have been, but they did not give Stuart Atwell did not give the red card, and then play continued. Man City conceded the goal to Eberechi Eze, who I think could be playing his final game at Crystal Palace. He was on he had an 8.1. He got fouled a lot. That's the only thing I really remember, but he had a really good strike. Crystal Palace took the lead and didn't look back. Crystal Palace, for the first time in their history, have won the FA Cup, their first big trophy ever. And this is a year where we've had a lot of incredible stories with teams winning trophies all around England and around the world. And we'll talk about possibly two of the other stories later, but we had Newcastle win the Carabao Cup. You had Palace win the FA Cup over Man City. And a game that if I made a stream or a video about it, I thought was going to be a complete wash by City. I thought they were going to win this game 4-5-0. And they went out, had 2.23 XG on 23 shots. They had 6 shots on target. That's it. That's kind of weird. But despite them having tripled the shots and tripled the XG, they did not score a goal. They did not score one goal. That's absurd. That is absurd. The fact that they did all of that and did not score. Crystal Palace wins the FA Cup for the first time in their long history in a sold out Wembley Stadium. Man City, who lose for their first time in 10 matches, only go out and bottle it against Palace. Perfect. So Crystal Palace actually won a trophy, and we actually have a couple live updates because we're going to go to our next story now. And if by any chance, if we continue the live streams, you guys, if you want to, can come in. Are we back? Dude, this is the perfect first stream. We had the Wi-Fi go out for a second or whatever just happened. The Wi-Fi went out mid-stream. That's awesome. You don't get like this other. Listen, we've never done miraculous quality on this channel, but my God, that was funny. What else is going on? Saturday Eye right now, at the time of this stream, is on the biggest day of their season. what is going on is that today we have a title decider going on right now. And you can check it out, I believe, on Paramount Plus if you have Paramount Plus. It's the Italian Serie A. Inter and Napoli are dueling for the Serie A title, and we just got word of a goal by Inter from Diverge. I think that's how you say it. And Inter, who are playing Como, lead 1-0. They need a win and Napoli to drop points against Cagliari for Inter to win the title. Napoli, who have, oh my God, they have 1.2 XG on 12 shots. Cagliari does not have a shot yet. Dude, what the hell is this? At the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, they have done absolutely nothing. What is this? Cagliari are 14th. What are the ratings? Oh, I want to see what the ratings are. Who sucks? Sherry's putting on a clinic. That's the only thing I know. He's on a 7.8. Lukaku on a 5.9. You know what? That's fitting. That Napoli are bottling this with Lukaku on a 5.9. The big story in the beginning of the year was Atalanta, and they've kind of fallen away. I think we actually might have just gotten a goal. And we do. We do have a goal. Scott McTominay has scored for Napoli. Right on cue. It's McTominay again, who has scored for the boys in blue. His 12th goal of the season. And right when I was talking crap about Napoli, they are leading against Cagliari 1-0. Right on cue. So now Napoli are leading the table at the top of the table by 1 point over Inter. And that's something right after this stream that you guys should totally be following towards the end of the year. Let's take a quick look at Serie A. Who sucked? Who is great this season? Monza got relegated. That was rather predictable. Venezia, who I love Venezia. They have to win against Juventus. Fitting that the last game is against Juventus. Must-win game. Gotta beat Juventus. Perfect. Venezia is playing Juventus. Empoli is playing Hellas Verona. They're 2 points ahead of Venezia. Lecce is 2 points ahead of Venezia. They're tied with Empoli. They're ahead on, I don't know what, honestly. How does this, oh my God, I can't speak. They're playing Lazio. Well, that's unfortunate. So Empoli is playing a winnable game. Parma, who are kind of in the conversation, they need Lecce and Empoli to drop points to be safe. They're playing Atalanta, which is also very tough match. And Hellas Verona, or 15th, are playing the 18th place Empoli. So realistically, there are, 4 teams in the running for the 2 relegation spots in 18th and 19th. That's kind of crazy. Disappointing season from Udinese. They're in 12th. How don't they have a couple of really good players? And at one point, I think they're in 5th or something. Yeah, they have Lorenzo Luca, who was at Pisa. That Pisa team actually got promoted this year, which is pretty cool. Luca, 11 goals, 1 assist on a 6.7. He has not had a very good season. And the Serie A this year. Biggest disappointment, though, is AC Milan. They will not be in Europe this year. So Christian Pulisic and company will not be in Europe. Their leading goal scorer is Christian Pulisic. I know everyone talks a lot of crap about the American national team and Americans don't know football or soccer at all. Christian Pulisic, well, first off, he's scored more goals than when he did with Chelsea already, which is kind of funny. Christian Pulisic has scored 11 goals, 9 assists on a 7.36 in 33 matches. Their next leading goal scorer is Reinders, the defensive midfielder. 10 goals from a defensive midfielder is actually very impressive. Rafael Leao has a 7.2, has done absolutely nothing, yet is valued at 80 million according to Football. That's crazy. But yeah, Milan will not be in Europe next year. at least from the expectation, because they're 5 points off of the Europa Conference League spot, which is currently possessed by Lazio. So that'll be something to watch out for. If Lazio, Roma, Fiorentina, or Bologna will get the Europa or Europa Conference League spot. Big ups to Atalanta, who've had an excellent season. Matteo Retegui has been awesome for them this year. 25 goals for Matteo Retegui. What's that again? Why? What is happening? Connection successful. What is going on with my internet today? We'll have to say, I'll definitely take a look at that for next time. But Matteo Retegui started like years ago. Look at his whole career. Started his career at Boca Juniors, went on loan to Estudiantes. Where is he from? Italy. Why are you starting with Boca Juniors? That's kind of random. You're Italian and start your career in Argentina. Works for me, broski. Started with Boca for a year and a half, played one game, then went to Estudiantes on loan, went back to Boca, went on loan to Talleres? Is that how you say it? Talleres? I don't know. Played 61 matches over a year and a half on loan. Then went back to Boca, went on loan again to Tigre. Then got sold to Tigre after scoring 35 goals in 70 matches for Tigre. Was with Tigre until July of 2023. Got sold to Genoa, and then had a breakout season this year at Atalanta, scoring 28 goals in 48 total matches, including 25 goals with 7 assists on a 7.35 in the Serie A. He's 26 years old. He should not be on this team, but he could be the guy that gets sold after one good season for Atalanta. And they make a lot of money off of him. Adamol Lookman, who I know is probably going to move in the transfer window if I had to guess, has had a good season so far. 15 goals, 5 assists on 7.41. He's been pretty good. But this Atalanta team could have really contended with the Serie A title, and they were like really bad a couple of months ago, and that's what took them out of it. How did they get here? How bad were they last month, or like in recent months? You lose to Lazio, at Fiorentina, and Inter in consecutive games, while also drawing Venezia. Yeah, that's what would do it to you. You go on, bottle it to Venezia. But since those 3 consecutive losses, they've won games against Bologna, Milan. They drew Lecce. My God. You beat Monza, Roma, and at Genoa last week in a 3-2 win at Genoa. And they needed an 89th minute winner from Matteo Retegui to do that. So it's been an up and down year, but still a very good finish from Atalanta. They'll be in the Champions League next year. They'll be a team to watch out for, be a sleeper of the Champions League again. But Inter against Napoli will be utter chaos to the finish. So big ups there. In Spain, because we're just going to go around the leagues, Barca has already won. Real Madrid will finish second. There's a battle for third between Athletic Club Bilbao, who could finish fifth at the end of the day, but will be in the Champions League anyway. Villarreal also has clinched the Champions League. They're back. Big ups to Celta Vigo, who've had a great season. They're out in 7th. Vallecano and Osasuna are going to battle with Celta Vigo on the last day. Celta Vigo is playing Getafe. I think that's a match that they could win. Getafe is in 13th right now. Mallorca is going to play Vallecano on the last day, and Osasuna is playing at Alaves. So Alaves are 14th. What's the other club? Mallorca, whatever that is. Mallorca are 10th, so that'll be fun. Mallorca is already out of it, though, so they cannot make it to Europe. Rip Mallorca. Biggest disappointment in Spain this year, Espanyol is 17th. They still can get relegated. They've lost how many in a row now? What the hell was this? What has happened to Espanyol? They have not won since April 18th. They've drawn Valencia. They lost to Villarreal, lost at home to Betis. They lost at home to Leganes, at Barca, and then lost on the road at Osasuna to set up a final day clash against Las Palmas, who are 19th and are already relegated, for a spot to stay in La Liga. It'll be Leganes, who are playing the team in last, Valladolid, or you are playing, and then the other one will be, so there'll be a battle at the bottom. Sevilla are 16th. They are safe, but not by any means that, but they've had a really bad year. Girona also sucked this year. They are 15th. I don't know what's going on over there. The bottle jobs out there in Spain. So I don't know what the hell is happening. Other league that's going on, Bundesliga. We're gonna go there next. Bayern did win it. Thank God. Harry Kane finally won a trophy. Disappointing season from Hoffenheim. They stayed up barely because Heidenheim went out and lost 4-1 at home to Werder Bremen. They still would have gotten relegated anyway. Actually, no, Heidenheim would have had to win by multiple goals against 8th place Werder Bremen, who they actually had a pretty good year, Werder Bremen. Stuttgart had a decent year. Horrible season from Union Berlin again. Holstein Kiel and Bochum got relegated. Heidenheim now has to play in a playoff, so that'll be fun. The big story this week, Dortmund actually did get in the Champions League after they kind of didn't deserve it. Freiburg bottled it. They played Frankfurt and lost. Dortmund then took the opportunity to jump Freiburg on the last day, so Dortmund will play in the Champions League next year after beating Holstein Kiel 3-0. If they did not beat Holstein Kiel, I would have been really disappointed. Dortmund are a team that are going to play in the Club World Cup, and we'll do a preview of the whole tournament. Club World Cup, Gold Cup, those will be, I think we're doing one of them next week. One of them's in 2 weeks, and the other's the week afterwards. And then the next day starts the tournaments. That's why I think it is. But we'll definitely do streams for both, or at least videos for both of those. Maybe we'll have some guests. If you want to shout out a guest to join me, then write it in the comments. But yeah, big ups to Bayern. Harry Kane won a trophy. That Bayern Munich team were really good this year. 99 goals scored in 34 matches. That's insanity. Their only draw in their last 5 was against Leipzig in a 3-3 draw. That game was absurd. I watched that game. I did not believe what my eyes were seeing, but they finished the season beating Hoffenheim 4-0. If you look at the numbers, Harry Kane was a baller. 26 goals for Harry Kane this season. They had an excellent signing of Michael Elise from Crystal Palace, who had a baller season, 12 goals, 15 assists. He was a demon out there on the wing. And I loved Michael Elise. I really wish Arsenal were going to go for him, but now I think Elise will be at Bayern for a long time. The big thing to watch out for from Bayern, they actually made a signing today. They signed Jonathan Tah to play center back, which I think is a phenomenal move for them. I was questioning who was going to play center half for them. They've had a lot of injuries. Upamecano, Kim Min-jae tore his ACL. So who was going to play center back during the Club World Cup? I think they're still going to have to make more signings at fullback, but they went out, they signed Jonathan Tah for free. So good start there for them. They'll probably have is Dyer leaving? I don't know who their other center back's going to be. Maybe Upamecano if he returns in time, but the tournament's soon. And right now, I believe they only have 1 or 2 decent center backs on a whole roster, which is going to be very, very intriguing. In goal, hopefully it's Neuer. Who knows who their goalkeeper is going to be? I love the midfield pairing with They have Joshua Kimmich, who has 7.93 in the Bundesliga. It's ridiculous. How is Palhinha? He sucked. Got it. Palhinha was terrible. I actually did not think that was going to happen, which is kind of crazy. Pavlovic actually was pretty good. I actually have not looked at these numbers for half of this Bayern team. So they'll be a team to definitely watch out for. They get to play in the Club World Cup pretty soon. They open with Auckland City, so they'll play probably all the backups in a match that probably won't matter. If they don't beat Auckland City, I'm going to be really disappointed because their next match would be against Boca Juniors at Miami, which is going to be a freaking thriller match in the battle of crazy. Well, Boca Juniors, go search up your news with Boca Juniors. Boca Juniors fans are insane. But Bayern, they won it comfortably. Leverkusen, that's actually another team we could talk about. It's Leverkusen because they might be selling Florian Wirtz. They've lost Todd. They're going to lose Wirtz probably, which means we could be seeing the downfall of Leverkusen, which is very intriguing to me. Leverkusen, a team that finished second in the Bundesliga and could be losing half of their star players. we've seen a lot of, to be fair, we've seen a lot of stars leave the Bundesliga this year. Omar Marmoush from Frankfurt, which they still rebounded and finished in third. How the hell did they do that? I don't know. But Florian Wirtz, Patrick Schick, I think could be another player that could be on the move. I don't know. When did he join? September 2020. I think they could possibly move him. I think they could get a lot of value for Patrick Schick, even though his market value is only 30 million. I think there could be teams that go in for him. Victor Boniface, who had a horrible season, but didn't he get hurt? Wasn't he hurt half the season? I don't know. I don't really remember. But he signed from Union Saint Gilloise in Belgium. He started playing Leverkusen 2 seasons ago now in 2023-24. Wirtz was excellent. They have Alejandro Grimaldo, another player who I think could be moving. Jeremy Frimpong's also gone. Almost forgot about him. He is going to Liverpool to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold, who goes to Real Madrid. Real Madrid also got Xabi Alonso, which I'm very intrigued to see what they do in the transfer window as well. But I know that's a team I almost missed out on. Leverkusen, they could be on the down. Very intriguing to see what happens with Leverkusen in the future. They're going to need to have a big transfer window in order to do anything. Though one of my favorite stories as well, we're going to keep going. We're going to go to France now. Story in France was Lyon actually can't get relegated now. If you were not following the whole season, I completely forgot about this too. Don't worry about it. You're not the only one. Lyon were struggling with financial irregularities, and if they didn't get into a European spot, they would get automatically relegated. Well, Lyon on the last day had to go out and beat on Angers, or however you say that. Angers? No, Angers is a different team. They finished 11th. Big up to them. It would be Angers, or however you say that. Maybe I'm angry for Angers. That was terrible. Sorry about that, chat. Lyon had to win, and Strasbourg had to lose. And it started with Strasbourg, who were playing Le Havre. They went up a goal to nil. And they went up 1-0 early, 20th minute goal by Santos to make this interesting. Lyon then had to go out and score multiple goals in the second half because it was 1-0 for a little bit, and Lyon was getting a little bit worried. But then if you go back to this match, Le Havre won a penalty. So they convert. It's 1-1. To then make it even more weird, Strasbourg score again. So it's now 2-1 in about the 60th minute. And then the weird stuff happens. Lyon scores. Not once, but twice with Lacazette, the ageless wonder Lacazette. They had 3.95 XG and only scored 2 goals. They kind of missed out on a couple opportunities as well. But Lyon were able to go out and do things, which set up an opportunity now for Strasbourg to have to win and win comfortably. So naturally, they go out and concede in the 70th minute, right around when Lacazette scored the second goal. So now it's 2-2. But Strasbourg is still ahead because they're drawing the match. And we go all the way now, deep in the stoppage time, 98th minute, Le Havre won a penalty in the 98th minute. And I'm going to try and pronounce his name now. I'm going to probably botch this. Omo Bamidele nailed it. Got a red card. And it's a penalty to Le Havre. And if they score, Lyon is safe. And they do convert. Le Havre wins 3-2 on the road at Strasbourg to knock them out of Europe. Lyon are in Europe on goal difference after winning one of their previous 4. They win at home against Angers to make it into the Conference League. Big ups to them. You know what? I did not expect that to happen. Lyon, big ups to them. They actually did something. Lille also going to be in Europe. They're going to be in the Europa League. Nice actually has to qualify. They have a qualifying spot. I did not know that. That Nice, you had to qualify out of the 4th place in France. PSG won. Obviously, they won by 19 points. Then you have Marseille and Monaco also going to the Champions League. It actually got a little bit worrisome, I thought, at one point for Monaco, but, they almost bottled it on the second to last match day, but Monaco won against Lyon at home, and Nice lost to Stade Rennais, so that took them out of it. If Nice beat Stade Rennais, they actually would have been in the automatic qualifying spot for the Champions League. So they kind of blew it as well, but PSG won it. Marseille and Monaco are going to the Champions League. And Nice are going to go to the qualifying. Lille is going to Europa, and Lyon, who at one point thought they're going to get relegated, are going to be in Europe as well. The only other league that we're going to talk about today, what other weird things happen? Also got to give a shout out to Basel. They won the Swiss Super League, which I didn't think was going to happen. I got kind of worried that they weren't going to win it. They did win it with matches to go. The championship group, they went out and beat Servette, Young Boys. They actually lost to Young Boys at a stadium. I'm not going to try and say it because I might get demonetized. They lost to Young Boys 6-2, which how is that possible? I don't know. They faced Luzerne to end the season, which they should win, but who the hell knows, honestly. Basel they have one match, and then they play in the Swiss Cup final against who the hell is this? Are they in this? Is this a second division team? They're playing a team in the second division oh my God. If they don't win this, honestly, that would be very fitting if they lost. You go out and lose. That would be pretty funny. But in the actual Super League, Basel are going to go into Champions League qualifying. I don't know what the second spot gets you. It also gets you Champions League qualifying. So there will be a battle on the last day between Servette and Young Boys. Young Boys have to win at Lugano and have Servette lose to Lausanne Sport. How do I say that? I don't know. Luzerne can't make it. Actually, Luzerne can't make it into Europe with a win against Basel, but Luzerne haven't won in like a month and change. Lausanne actually could win and have Lugano lose to Young Boys, because that would actually knock Lugano into the Conference League Lausanne Sport actually into the Conference League qualifiers, which would be kind of funny. But that league is utter chaos as well. It will be till the last day. Anyone here in chat? Anything you guys want to talk about? Como got a red card. Oh. Como got a red card. Yeah, Reina got sent off. So Inter are now in complete control. So they're going to win. So now we're going to have to see what Napoli does. You guys will have to see how that ends. Let me see if anyone texted me a question. Let me just write out to anybody and see if any of the boys want me to talk about anything. Before we go off the stream, is there any topic you boys want me to talk about today? I don't think there really is. The Club World Cup spot. Great idea. The Club World Cup. So what we're talking about is that next week, the FIFA Club World Cup has a playoff match next week. And because if you haven't heard, or if you've been under a rock for the last couple of weeks, which I wouldn't blame you for whatsoever, by the way, a club called Lyon got disqualified from the Club World Cup. And that means next Saturday we have a qualifier that we could be streaming, though it's at 10:30 p.m. I don't know if you guys would want to stream that. LAFC is playing against Club America for qualification into the Club World Cup to get absolutely destroyed by Chelsea and company. LAFC, who won the MLS Cup why are they here? I actually have no idea why they're here. They didn't win MLS last year. LA Galaxy won MLS, but then again, LA Galaxy is 4 points from 14 matches. So I would totally get why they wouldn't want LA Galaxy in this. But last year, where did they finish last year? Did they win the Champions Cup? LA Galaxy lost in the Champions Cup to Inter Miami. Then why are they here? Hold up. Does anyone in chat know why LAFC is in this? I know why Club America is in this, because it's either their ranking or the Mexican League stuff. Why are they in the playoff? LAFC is in the playoff because it finished as a run-up to Club. Oh, because they finished up the Leon. Fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. I actually rock with that. So they finished runners up to Leon, which is totally fine. So they're going to have to attempt to replace Leon, even though I think it should be a Mexican league club anyway. The reason Leon can't play in it, I know I haven't said that yet, is because Leon and another one of the Mexican clubs are owned by the same person or the same ownership group. Now, you can't have the same ownership group be featured in the tournament. So that's why Leon is disqualified, even though they announced it really late. I don't know what the hell that was about. They had an opportunity to announce this like months ago and have this match happen in March, but for some reason they just didn't do it. So now you have a situation where we'll have a qualifying match and then the tournament. But yeah, that is like the weird stuff that will happen next week. And then we'll have a whole tournament. Maybe I go to the Club World Cup. Maybe I don't. I don't know personally. Should I vlog that? I don't know. I don't know if you guys would want a Robbie Basil vlog or not. I'm just scrolling through Foot Mom in case there's anything else that's crazy. What the heck? Lask is in the relegation group of the Austrian League? Wow, that's weird. Rapid Vienna's 5th. Salzburg's 4th. What is this league? For those who don't know, RB Salzburg won that league for like 11 years in a row, and now in 4th. Rheindorf, Altosh, they kind of suck, though. Gratzer is not good either. Yeah, there's not really anything else. All I know is that international games are starting soon because we have World Cup qualifying from CONCACAF at the beginning of the month. No, the United States will not be in that because we've already qualified for the World Cup. I know that was a question I got in the chat in previous streams. So no, the United States will not have to qualify for the World Cup 2026. I know there was a rumor that like England has to qualify for like the Euros, even though they're hosting, or something about that. I don't know really much about it. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. Unless you boys have no other questions, I think that'll be the end of the stream today. Check your texts. What did I get? Oh, I almost forgot about this. This will be the last topic, and I think I was waiting to talk about this. It's something that happened in the Scottish League, and I think it was kind of weird, and I think we should talk about it. It happened with Aberdeen. We're actually going to make a short for this. All right, hold up. So what happened with Aberdeen at their most recent match? Because apparently a fan threw a chair at a player in the Scottish Premiership. Let's talk about it. Nailed that. So apparently what was going on is that during their most recent match with Dundee United, a fan threw a chair at Jack McKenzie, one of the players on the Aberdeen side. A fan threw a chair, which we've seen a lot of random stuff get thrown at players, beer bottles in the Vanarama National League. In National League South, we've seen other things thrown on a pitch, beach balls, which aren't violent, and then you just have a random chair. That's a first for me. Has anyone here ever heard of someone getting a chair thrown at them in the middle of a match? That's a new one to me, but what do you guys think? How crazy is that? The craziest thing you've ever seen during a match? That's like, let me ask you this. I'll try it again. Let me ask you this. Is that the craziest thing you've ever seen in a match? Comment that down below. See, that could be a short. Who knows? But that's all we're going to have for the stream today. Thank you guys so much for watching the stream. Make sure to like and subscribe. More information about next week's streams and the future stream schedule will be on Tuesday's video or stream. You'll hear on Monday or Tuesday morning what the video will be. If it's a stream, if it's a live, if it's a regularly edited video, you'll hear about it then. For now, I'm Robbie Basil saying enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the final weekend of league football in 2024-25 season. See you guys next time.